Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to continue from our last video. We're going to do a power steering flush, but this one's going to be for the DYI guys. All right, the last one we did was the Pro, and it was with a machine to flush it out. All right, this time we're going to go ahead and we're going to flush it out this time. We're going to do it by hand. What we need for this is we need at least 2 quarts of the correct fluid. That's a half a gallon, and this card takes ATF plus 4. We need an empty container in which we're going to stick all the oil fluid into. And we need a turkey baster in order to take the fluid out. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we have a 2006 Dodge Caravan. The power steering system needs to be flushed. The power steering reservoir is up here. It's remote mounted. The power steering pump is actually down over there. So this one's actually pretty easy. It's right up on top. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Here's the cap. Okay, we can move the cap. There's no dipstick on this one. Some of them do, some of them don't. They're on the side here, and you can see here, there's a line here that says add, and there's another line here that says full range. And when it's cold, it's going to be down here. When it's hot, it's going to be up here. So it should always be right in between here. If we take a light and we shine it behind the reservoir, we can see where we're at. And we're not quite all the way down, and we're not quite all the way up. We're in the range of where it should be full. All right, and that's where we want to be when we're done. Of course, by then the engine will be warmed up a little bit, so we're going to be a little more towards the top. All right, let's get started. First thing I want to do before we even start it up is take our container we're going to be putting the old stuff into. Let's open it up. Let's start siphoning it out. We'll take this and we'll stick it down here, and you can see we can get quite a few out in one pump. Okay, we'll let the ball fill up. Take it out. Put it in the container. We squeeze it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower it as much as it will let me. The difference between a drain and fill is that when you drain the system out and then refill it, you only use the needed amount for the capacity. When you do a flush, what you're doing is you're replacing the fluid by exchanging old with new, and usually you have to use at least double the amount. Now you can see I can't get any more out. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add some. Okay, let's take a look and see where we're at. You can see we're down below the add now. We're going to go ahead and open up our quart, and we're going to go ahead and pour a little in. Now you can see the color difference. You can see the color difference between the new stuff I'm putting in and the old stuff we took out. Let's go ahead and run the car. You can see immediately the color's changing already, back to that dirty oil. Go ahead and turn the wheel back and forth. go ahead and siphon it out again. You see it's cleaner, but it still isn't that bright red. It should be that bright red color. This is supposed to be a transmission fluid. That noise you're hearing is what happens when the fluid gets a little low. Let's go ahead and add a little fluid. Let's go ahead and steer it back and forth again. You can see our container is getting cooler, but you can see it's still dirty. I'm going to use the full 2 quarts to do this flush. And again, there's no reason to rush through this. Take your time. Remember, the pros use a machine to siphon it in and out. Look at my last video and I'll show you how the pros did it. You can see it's looking cleaner, but it still isn't that bright red that you expect training fluid to look like. And that's why you do the 2 quarts. Do a full flush. And there's 1 quart. while this is going on, let's talk about when this is supposed to be getting done. Once again, just like on the previous video, there is no maintenance item for power steering fluid. It's just something the manufacturers aren't worried about as far as maintenance goes, but in the reality of it all, it does need to get done. This one goes all the way up to 150,000 miles, and they never tell you should ever change power steering fluid. There's no such thing as lifetime fluid. All right? What type of fluid does it take? It's a Mopar ATF plus 4. That's the transmission fluid that Mopar likes to use, and they use it for their power steering fluid. Some vehicles use power steering fluid, some vehicles use transmission fluid. They use their own transmission fluid, just like some Fords use their Type F transmission fluid. So again, you always want to make sure you're using the correct fluid. The reason why this is being done is because when this vehicle is driven, once it gets hot, it drives 15 miles or so, and it's really hot, you start to hear that noise like the power steering fluid is low. So we're changing the fluid instead of going ahead and trying to change the pump, which would be the most likely cause if it's not the fluid. Alright? There's actually a flush time on this vehicle as to how long it takes to do a flush. And it says it's half an hour. Now that's the play time. This may take a little longer. It is what it is. See how clean that looks now? Now it looks red. Now it looks like tranny fluid. Alright, this cord is now almost empty. So now we need to end this. You don't ever want to just shut off the system when you fill up the power steering pump, because when you turn the pump on, the fluid level always goes down. So if you try filling it while it's running, when I shut this off, it's probably going to spill out everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and siphon out one bulb full. Put that in the waste container. Now I'm going to siphon up a second bowl full. I gotta leave it here. So now it'll sit in here. I'll shut it off. Now let's give it a second. We can see our fill line is down here. So we can go ahead and we can add it back in to right about, let's say it's good. There. All right. And that's where we want to be when we're done. Now we still have a little bit in here. So what we can do is we can siphon a little out. Set this aside. Hold it. And then pour it in a little bit more. Go ahead and dump this one out. I'll go ahead and siphon out some more. You just don't want to ever leave yourself short, that's all. So by leaving it in the bulb, I have extra to go with. Okay, let's see where we're at. Tiny bit overfull now, so let's go ahead and empty this one. Let's go ahead and take a little out until we're at our line where we want to be at. Just right there. See how nice and clean that is now? See how red it is? That's transmission fluid. Okay. Again, this takes transmission fluid as power steering fluid. See that? See how much we did? Nice and clean, nice and done. Alright, let's go ahead and put the top back on. Let's go ahead and take a rag and wipe off any little bit we might have spilled. I also like to clean the bottle off now, because who the heck wants to say, hey, you did your power steering fluid, but look how nasty and dirty my bottle is. So a little bit of cleaning here and there doesn't hurt. Alright. Alright, and that's it. Again, power steering is an easy one. Look at the pro video, it wasn't that long. And the only difference was I was able to use the machine. With this, we just had to do it manually. It's not that hard. This one, power steering pump is right there. There are some cars where the power steering pump is down a little deeper, a little harder to get to. Obviously, it wouldn't be as easy as this one. It's nice up on top. Most of them are easily accessible. There's only a couple of them that aren't. And do it yourself. It's not a big deal. This one was an easy one. Subscribe, like, ask questions, give me comments. Good, bad. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Thank you.